Okay, Psychiana, lesson 4, Reverend CrystalCox. We're going to read it and we're going to just chatter a little bit about it here. Okay. It is an intensely interesting lesson and is of vital importance to you in your studies. Okay. It is one of the most important lessons of them all, for the profound truths it contains are the most fundamental you have ever studied or dealt with. Keep in mind, this was a long time ago. The Brian Scott videos on Psychiana are really good. This is the lesson which has brought the amazing number of complimentary letters to us. Okay. Let's skip some of it. Okay. I don't need these. I zoomed the words that I do this. Okay, so study it very carefully and very thoughtfully and very earnestly. Read it over and over again. Drive home into the very core of your being the mighty truths this fourth lesson discloses. I thought I had shifted that. Okay, so, let's see, 26. Okay, 26. Doing some math in my head, in case you didn't know. Okay, there are lessons equally as interesting. I was going to just listen to the other and do my notes on it, so this reading the different lessons may not work out. There might be too much mumbo jumbo, but let's give it a try. And why am I starting first on lesson 4? Because I said so. Okay, you've come to me in search for health, success, and happiness. And you believe that I know the way. I know that I know the way. And I am now, through these lessons, showing it to you. You, of course, are in earnest in these studies. You actually want the good things of life. Don't you? Duh. There are hundreds of thousands trotting around this globe. Good health or happiness. Some of them have never tasted happiness. And, I don't know what is happiness. To me, happiness is relief, right? It's survival. I don't know that I've ever truly known happiness. Though I know happy moments. I feel joy, in many, many different things on this beautiful planet. But as far as just being happy, I'm not sure what that is. Like, Okay, there's hundreds of thousands trotting around who are not slightest interest in financial success, good health, or happiness. Some of them have never tasted it. They do not know what it means. Others there are who don't seem to care whether they ever amount to anything or not. See, all of this depends on your definition of success, your definition of you never did amount to anything, right? I amounted to everything by the time I was 30. And then, well, I jumped on this crusade and that crusade and this crusade. And so right now it's up to me to create the reality I want and to invoke the God law to create the world that I want to live and to project that world. And in order to do that, I have to first be, happy. Before you can be happy, you can be content. You can be, because it's exciting. When you're focused on something, you don't think about anything that might stress you out. When you're too busy with something you're excited about, you don't get stressed out about. Because it's like, All right. So, as long as they have a job, which keeps them in eats and sleeps, they seem to be abundantly satisfied. But I don't think you're that sort of a person. Now, this guy, Frank B. Robinson, he sent these to people every 2 weeks. And it was in the 50s, I think it was. We don't talk like this now. I don't know. Okay, it is part of the law. I say law because it's capitalized. That first of all, the desire must be there in your individual case. I know it is there, or you would not have enrolled with me. I do not know what in your particular case the particular need may be, nor do I care. All I'm asking at this point is that you remember that you are in earnest in your search for the law, controlling every good thing life has to offer. If I thought the students who will read this would not be in earnest, then I promise you it would never have been written. But it has been written, and it has gripped thousands of people all over the world. And we have not gotten off to a good start yet. That seemed like a weird thing to say at that point. For the day is coming when the truth of the God law, as this course of instruction reveals to you, will be known all over the world. You will all know how this God law that has manifested everything works for you. How thoughts create reality. The quantum aspect of it all, that you really can have any reality you want once you can master your thoughts, but we can't master our freaking thoughts till we can get rid of the trauma, till we can get rid of all the other people and the little voices in our head that are bullies, that put us down, that hold us back, that criticize us, that cause our anxiety. And every sort of anxiety and stress always starts with a certain thought. So if you have another thought, like I believe in the living God, I believe in the living God, I believe in the living God, you override it. Now this stuff talks about, the meditation part, so you relax every part of your body, so you tighten your feet and relax, tighten your legs and relax, tighten and relax. And then in that state, your affirmations really go in. I am finding the power of the living God. I am finding the power of the living God law. My thoughts are part of the living God. Okay. What different? Okay, so what change will there be? What a difference that will make. This ceaseless and oftentimes useless struggle against poverty. See, things just keep coming to me. Yeah, they convinced everybody that electricity was needed to be in a wire. They had to pay for it. Taxes, one God, one path. Their medical system, they convinced people of this reality. The people then convinced projected that reality. I don't know if you've seen Tomorrowland with George Clooney, but spoiler alert, but they had this thing that was reading reality, right? And gloom and doom and climate change and everything's going down. What turned out that it was the thought of the observer that was creating the reality, which is the same as the quantum double-blind split, right? Which I'm going to do some videos on that. How can people believe what they're believing now if they, in what science do you believe and what science do you not believe? No science can be believed if you believe the double split experiment, which in quantum physics is that the observer affects the scientific experiment. If you believe that, then how can any scientific anything not be jaded by the observer? And what you believe will change that reality. This ceaseless and often useless struggle against poverty, ill health, unhappiness will be a thing of the past in the life. Yeah, imagine if we didn't have, what kind of life you'd be living now if you didn't think at all about ever getting ill. You didn't think about being unhappy or alone or poverty, right? Then you would be creating different things. You'd be living a different life. It's like I'm experiencing that now in a way in different microcosms of okay, it's raining or what? I hear some weird noise. Anyway, I'm experiencing it in a microcosm of just how hard it is to feel relaxed when the pressure's off. Because you know. So if you knew until infinity that you had a set income and that you had a set place to live and that you weren't going to be oppressed by this group or controlled by this one or you weren't going to be criticized for this or if you could just let yourself emerge beyond the survival of the people who are putting you down and I don't know what that noise is I hear, but you could move beyond that type of reality, and who would you be and what worlds would you create? And we all create our own worlds and our own realms. But until we master our thoughts, we can't do that. And we're learning that here on Earth. Okay, so thing of the past. In the life of the one knowing how to utilize the God law as Jesus understood and used it. He had no monopoly on this law. This was the message he came to preach. The universality of the God law. Jesus didn't come here to be worshipped. Jesus came here to show you an example of who you are and how you could be. But the people wouldn't have it then. It has taken 2,000 years for the people to get the first faint inkling of what this mighty God law is about. And that's why, too, they kind of forced they called all of that, voodoo and witchcraft, and when they use their power even a little bit, and then they controlled the idea of the name God by force. You will love my God or I will kill you. And that's how they did it. That's certainly not love, and that's certainly not God law. Well, it's God law, because they believed it strong enough and they convinced you, your ancestors, whatever, to believe it. Okay. To utilize the God law as Jesus understood and used it. He had no monopoly on this law. This was the message he came to preach. The universality of the God law. But the people wouldn't have it then. It's taken thousands of years for the people to get a hint of what the mighty God law is. A mighty few of them know some of the way they word these things. In the meantime, thousands of men and women have turned in disgust from what has been offered to them in the name of God, knowing that such ridiculous doctrines and dogmas never could do anything material and lasting in life, perhaps after death, but not in life. And see, that's too what, it's not about being judged at some later date at some pearly gate, okay? It is invoking the God law now. The powers that controlled you wanted you to believe that you will be judged in the afterlife. That way you behave yourself, right? And the Bible will become part of your system and part of your morals to get you to do what they want you to do. But you're being judged in every second. You're judging yourself. But not only are you judging yourself, you're creating your reality by what the system has convinced you to believe. And it's hard to unwind from that. And we're doing that a lot in Mass right now. All that is changing, however. All that is changing, however. And as this teaching goes on its way around the world, the eyes of men and women are being opened to the actual truths of God. And as ever, when natural or spiritual law is complied with, the results are sure. God law is natural law. I have purposely stopped here for a moment on our journey together, and I have reconnoitered for a few minutes, just to look the land over and see just where we stand today. Alright, I'm just going to look around. Look around your room. Alright. And then try to find your place. Okay. I am to show you the working of the God law behind the universe, and show you how to apply it in your life for health, success, and happiness. You, in turn, are deeply in earnest in this entire matter. You really want to be a success. You really do want to get out of the rut and away from the don't cares, and you actually want and desire to find the better things of life. If you are a married man or woman, you want that home. Remember, we're in the 50s here. You want a car, you want a bank account, all these, oh my God, right. Alright. A little later on, we'll understand just what these exercises are designed to do. You will know what they really are, and for what purpose I prescribe them. Just now, however, just do them exactly as I ask you to. Remember, you're the student and I'm the teacher. I know what I'm doing and talking about, and you want to know. All right then, faithfully follow me, and remember as you follow me in this marvelous lesson that we are not studying a fairy story in any sense of the word. We are studying the story of this world and its creator. We are also to study something else. We are to study the most marvelous creation God ever made. You. Man or woman, let me interpolate. Let me interpret here. Let's just say that. Let me interpolate. Okay, I guess that means he's hanging out. I'm not sure what that word means, sorry. Let me interlope here long enough to suggest that you be very sure of your ground before we progress any further along the lines of these studies. So you kind of were saying, well, what do I want to learn from this? What is my intention to learn? And for me, it's just more studies for me to learn, as in the Mandela effect, the quantum shift, quantum reality, and how you create your own reality, and how the tools that we do that people like to make you think are, if they're evil, they're bad, they're wrong, they're witchcraft, but they're actually natural laws, and so they're not supernatural so much as there are natural born abilities, and it's about looking away from the naysayers and developing them more and more. Okay. If you are not so clear on any point, or if for some reason or other you have not done the exercises, then may I suggest that you start at the beginning and again and do them this time. Those of my students who are the most earnest will be the most anxious to do these things. But no matter how intensely interesting these lessons are from historical and literary standpoint, I am afraid that it will take much more than just reading of them to achieve the goal. So being in earnest, you want the truth, and I will give it to you. So check out Brian Scott Psychiana on YouTube. The author is Frank B. Robinson, but Brian Scott's videos, so he's reading this stuff to you, but also I just really like his voice, and then I lay there and I go into the meditation afterwards. I'm a little spacey. I think I just landed in this body. Timelines are moving so fast. Okay. In dealing with the immense subject of this world's creator and its created marvel, man and woman, it's an interesting term, I realize, of course, the utter impossibility of doing it the justice I should like to. I could probably write year in and year out on this subject, but it is necessary now that I condense it as much as possible and put the vital truths of this course of religious instruction into as few words as possible. I'm going to stop this video here because I think it's going to stop itself. So you could be like a rodeo ride. You hang on to this, you flip this, and then you come over here, and then you go, hey, Pilgrim, there might be a little bit left of this video, but I'm going to stop it. You're going to want to look for Psychiana Lesson 4, Part 2. I might only do Lesson 4 because I will send you. What is with the accent? Oh, my God. I will send you to YouTube, Brian Scott. Do the fucking work. Yes, ma'am. And create your fucking reality. Okay, I'm basically, because I basically can't use now, because I don't know the language anymore. I don't speak no language. I'm saying this stuff to go fucking do it to you, Crystal. Because I'm talking to myself on how to fucking create reality. I have known I can move realities, okay? I have manifested magic. So get the worry out, okay? Get some bleach, scrub it out. Get the worry out. Don't obsessively think about things that could go wrong. Find a happy thought, and then what? Oh, this is where we're going now? I guess I'm having a talk with myself here. Well, nothing. There's nothing to it. But, just lay there. You're emitting a vibration anyway, right? I want to learn how to manifest more. From each level I'm at, I can jump to a higher level. I went and experienced things to understand that frequency. You cannot activate change in something unless you are that something. So homelessness, for example, experiencing it, yeah, I knew about it. I thought I knew the feeling. I thought I knew so much about it. I'm a seer. I've studied. I've talked to people. I've been around. But I didn't know it until I got to that frequency. And then when you get to that frequency, then to get out of that frequency is kind of a big deal. But you can't facilitate change in something, and there's many examples to that. Whatever it is you're going through, you can't facilitate the change for that particular item or issue for humanity without being in it. And you activate it by being in it. And so it's about the, I believe in the power of the living God. I love the way that comes through. And using that power to create something I might fucking enjoy. I'm the cussing preacher. The cussing dyke preacher. I noticed some of these. I put dyke gospel. I like that. I almost got it removed because they thought I'm not allowed to use the word dyke maybe. But I'm a dyke and I'm a queer. And I'm just me. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a butterfly, I'm an ant, I'm a I was gonna say a sausage roll. What a weird thing. Like some sort of a pastry. But then I would have been wheat, right? Or then I'd have been flour. Anyway. The point is that I'm all things. I don't remember the point. We're okay, part 2 coming soon.